Hi everyone, it's Lisa Mears. Thank you for joining me today. Today I'm going to be making a clean and simple card. I'll be using Spectrum Noir sparkle pens to create a watercolor background, and I'll add some white die cuts to the front to make the background really pop. This is such an easy technique to do to add a quick background to a card. The Spectrum Noir sparkle pens are watercolor pens with a touch of glitter inside, which adds nice sparkle to the background. If you don't have these markers, you can try this technique with any watercolor markers that you may have in your stash. I'm using shades of blue, but you can use any shades that you wish. This first color that I laid down is the Ocean Wave color. It is the darkest blue that I'm using, and I chose to put it at the top of my cardstock panel, and I'm going to be adding these blues from the darkest color to the lightest color. And I'm just brushing them across my card panel. This is Bristol smooth cardstock. It's a smooth white cardstock that I'm using, and they just have a paintbrush tip. If you need more ink, you can squeeze the barrel and more ink will come out. I'm using Ocean Wave, Peacock Blue, Blue Topaz, and Moonstone. I'm not worried that I'm not getting full coverage because I'm going to come in with a paintbrush and I'm going to smooth these colors out. So here I have a soft, flat paintbrush, and I just dipped it in some water, and I am just going back and forth from left to right to smooth out these colors, and you can see how pretty those colors are when you blend them. So I'm just going from left to right and going from first color into the next color and then down to the next color all the way toward the bottom of that cardstock panel. So as I said, I'm using the Spectrum Noir sparkle pens, which have a touch of glitter inside, but if you have any watercolor pens, you can give this a try. And if you don't have watercolor pens, you can simply do this technique with your ink pads and do some ink blending. So now I'm just going to use my heat tool and I'm going to dry that panel. And once it's dry, I'm going to go ahead and spritz it with my water spritzer. And then I'm going to take a paper towel and press it over top of that background. Press it real good, and that water is going to soak into the paper towel and it will pull some of that ink out of that background. But look how pretty that is. You can see all of that beautiful glitter on that panel. I just love that technique. Next, I die cut a frame from the Pretty Pink Posh scallop frame dies, and I just used some white cardstock. And I'm just positioning that frame to kind of see where I want to cut this panel down. I want to try and get a little bit of all four of those colors in this scalloped frame. So that's just going to give me an idea of where I need to cut this background panel. So I'm going to start out by cutting this down to 3 inches on the shorter side. And then I will flip that panel over, and I'm just going to look again to see how that frame fits on top of this panel. So I'm going to snip a little bit off both ends, the top and the bottom, so that I can fit those colors perfectly the way that I want them to show up inside that frame. So I'm going to go ahead and pop that back here in my trimmer. I'm going to snip off a little bit of this lighter color here at the bottom, and then I'm going to flip this around and I'm going to snip off a little bit of the darker color, but I'm also going to snip it so that it is 4 inches. So in the end, the background is going to measure 3 by 4 inches. So the floral die that I'm using is the Pretty Pink Posh Floral Arch. I did die cut 2 of them from white cardstock. You can see what an intricate die this is. It is so pretty. Now the inside pieces of those flowers actually cut out. So if you wanted to save those inside pieces, you could totally do that, or die cut them with different colors and piece them back in. But I was just going for quick and simple, so I just die cut the outline, and I'm going to put them in the corners of this background panel. So because these die cuts are so intricate and I don't want to put glue on the back, I'm actually going to die cut them again, but this time I'm going to use a piece of white cardstock and add some double-sided adhesive tape to the back. And once I cover this white cardstock with the double-sided adhesive tape, I'm turning this cardstock into a sticker. And then I'll run that die through my die cut machine, and when it comes out, the entire die will be a sticker. So that way I don't have to worry about trying to put glue on all of those intricate lines in the die cut. Now I'm just going to remove the backing of the adhesive, and then here's where you can see all of the inside pieces that are part of that die. So again, if you wanted to do a different color and piece in other colors, you can totally do that. Okay, so these are just going to go in the corners of my scallop frame. So I'm just positioning it here where I want it, and then I'll press it down, and then I will flip that piece over and just press it down some more. Just make sure it's fully adhered, and then I'm just going to use my scissors and snip off the excess of that die cut. Next, I'm going to use the Praying for You script word die from Pretty Pink Posh. I die cut the entire word die here so you can see what it looks like, but I'm not going to use the words for you. I think it will be too cluttered if I use all three words, so I'm just going to use the word praying. That die, you can also use the words for you by itself, so if you wanted to use it even for a birthday, you can just use for you from that word die because they're all separate words. So instead of using the die, I'm going to use the For You sentiment from the Birthday Scripts stamp set. So here I'm just going to place that panel in my Misti. I'm going to kind of arrange it how I want it to look once it's on my card. So with the scallop frame over top and the word praying, that way I can line up the stamp. So once I have the word praying in line, I'm going to go ahead and take that stamp and I will line it up on my panel where I want it to go, and then I'll be able to stamp that down. I'm going to remove the die cut word praying from that panel, and I'm going to close the door on my Misti to grab that stamp, but I'm also going to remove that scallop frame. Since it's not attached, I want to go ahead and remove it so I don't have any extra layers when I stamp out the word for you. So go ahead and stamp that out in some black ink, and then I'll go ahead and glue the scallop frame right on top of that blue background. And then I'm going to add that panel to an A2 size card base. So my card base is measured at 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So that's just going to go right in the center of that white card base. So I actually die cut the word praying 3 times from black cardstock, and I'm going to layer all 3 die cuts together to create a stacked word, and this will give the word some more dimension when it's added to the card front. So next I'll go ahead and add glue to the back of the word, and I'll add that to the center of my card front. I'm going to put a little dot of glue right above the eye and then add the dot for the eye. So I'm going to go ahead and add some more sparkle to this card, and I'm going to add some of the sparkling clear confetti mix to the front of the card. I'm just going to add 3 of them, 2 in the top left corner and 1 in the bottom right corner. And that will complete this card. I love how simple and easy this card was to make, and I love all of that glitter and shine in the background. So all product links will be listed in the description below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe for more card making tutorials. Thanks for watching and have a great day. Bye-bye.